But tell me about this bloodbath story.
Okay,
I'm
so
very interested
The
in
Bloodbath
this.
thing was pretty delicious, right? So I watched the story grow from the beginning,
Mhm.
right? So a week ago today, Saturday evening, we did our family hike and stuff like that. And I meant to pull up one of the datas because they talked about it too, and I fucked it up. I didn't get it out together. But so I saw the headline originally, came up on my news break thing. I've been curating my news apps, and I got my new phone, and it says, Donald Trump warned of a bloodbath if he doesn't win the next election. And I was like, all right, well, I'm sure there's more to this. Like, I'm
Yes.
certain that this is not everything,
Because I heard it on, they were discussing, I think, on Breaking Points on one of the
Yeah.
episodes. And so I heard the whole clip the entire
Yeah.
time. And I was like, I don't get it.
And we'll watch it.
Okay.
Because then the next morning, that was like in the evening. I said this first I sent you all the articles on Salty Boys already. And the first one I think is NPR. Pull up the NPR one first, I think, because I believe that's the one that has the earliest timestamp.
Okay.
Oh no, that one's from the next day. It's the NBC one, I'm sorry, that has the earliest timestamp. Yes. And so this one was posted Saturday, March 16th at 7:12 p.m. Eastern. Right? So you can see from the picture, it's daylight when he was giving this campaign. So they posted this at 4:15. So he hadn't been done talking for very long when they posted this. It was pretty fucking instantaneous. Saturday afternoon, they post this afternoon this time, evening Eastern time. Yes, where they say Trump says there will be a bloodbath if he doesn't get elected in November as he campaigns for GOP's Bernie Moreno in Ohio. Like,
Dude.
that's weird, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
a
like,
weird thing to say.
it's like, I'm sure there's more to this, right? So I didn't even read this article. I just saw the headline. I was like, that's crazy,
Yep.
And so the next day I'm starting to see more and more headlines, right? Like this NPR one, where Trump says some migrants are not people and warns of bloodbath if he loses. And I was like, okay,
Jesus.
hold the fucking phone. I was like, hold on, right? Because they've said things like this before, and I was like,
It's so funny because I know the context of what he actually said.
there has to be more to what is going on here. And so I'm hitting up Twitter because that's why I started to see these was on Twitter, and I was like, this is just, it's crazy. And I saw this Reuters article that I pulled up to. Trump predicts the end of U.S. democracy if he loses the 2024 election. Like, this can't be it's impossible, right?
Yeah.
Not because Donald Trump is so great, but because it's so foreign to everything I've ever heard him say before. In reality, in the things I know that he said, in the actual clips, like full-length clips I've seen him say, that's real counter to everything I've ever heard him say.
Yeah.
So I was on Twitter. I was like, I got to find out what's going on about this. And I sent you, I think, the Twitter thing as well.
From ALX?
Yes, and it has. So we can watch this video because he posted it. And it was a repost to this Biden-Harris account where it's Trump, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. Biden-Harris HQ tweeted that, their Twitter account. And so this was his reply. He said, you conveniently cut out the part to showing where he was talking about the car manufacturing industry.
Yeah.
So let's listen to this clip.
Mexico has taken over a period of 30 years, 34% of the automobile manufacturing business in our country. Think of it, went to Mexico. China now is building a couple of massive plants where they're going to build the cars in Mexico and they think that they're going to sell those cars into the United States with no tax at the border. Let me tell you something to China. If you're listening, President Xi, and you and I are friends, but he understands the way I deal, those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us. No, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole, that's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. They're building massive factories. A friend of mine, all he does is build car manufacturing plants. He's the biggest in the world.
I love the way he speaks, dude. It's so fucking funny. The way the intonation and the quick jump into another. Like, there was a period there, but I'm going to blow right past it.
Yes. So it's
so entertaining.
Quite obvious that
it's going to be a bloodbath.
Quite obvious to me that he is talking about the automotive industry.
Indeed.
And
the entire time.
The entire time. The time when they're talking about the Mexicans, he's talking about It's awesome. Remember the people that are being trafficked here, and like, there are people being trafficked here, and all this type of shit. And, like the people that are bringing them here, if you can even call them people. He's not talking about the people that are being trafficked. He's talking about the traffickers.
Yes.
The criminals, the people who rape the people that are trafficking, and the people that kill them and that take their money and drop them off into a foreign country with no assistance after they promise them something else. That's who it appears that he's talking about, not the immigrants who are coming here, right? But the people who are horrific enough in their personal status to rape and murder the people who have given them money to take them to a foreign land.
Most of them children.
That appears to be what he's talking about. And so,
because that's a very inhuman thing to do.
Correct. Yes. So from that Saturday night, Sunday morning to Monday morning, a full slate of the dailies, hitting this same fucking topic where they're talking about, and this harkens back to the time in which he said that there were good people on both sides of the South Carolina thing. And
you don't bring that up again?
Yes. People who were literally on CNN, like a guy who's, and this is the guy who said this and said this, so of course he means this. Yeah, going all the way back to when he's like, and this is also the guy that called Mexicans rapists. That was quite literally fucking 7 years ago. What are we doing? You're lying 7 years in about something he said about this same group of people.
Yeah, and to use their own language that we've debunked all these things
over and
years
over and
ago.
over and over again.
Maybe they think it's just been long enough. It sounds good because it's an election year again. So let's just say it again.
Well, and the article that we just read earlier from the Reload was talking about how difficult it is to get here. Right? Yeah. It's because we only take the best of the best. You're not sending the best of the best. That's who we want. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, bud.
Sorry. Are there not people, citizens of this country, who are being killed, raped, and other ways criminalized by illegal immigrants?
Oh, yeah.
There definitely are.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the people coming here are not always the best people, right? That's kind of the reality of everything. Also, everyone in America is not the best person. There's lots of fucking rapists and murderers here.
Yep.
You happen to be born here. You got lucky.
Yep.
Sorry.
Good roll of the dice.
You're a rapist in the best country in America. That sucks. Maybe you'll get to be in prison. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. You are a better person than an American rapist. I guarantee it. You are. Certainly.
Yep.
You were unlucky enough to not be born here. I don't know what else to tell you. That's not my fault. It's not your fault. And no one else is to blame, nor are we responsible for that reality.
It's not our responsibility either.
You just happen to not be born here. I'm super sorry about that. I happen to be born in Washington, not Texas. It's kind of gay up here, too. Don't know what to tell you. It's,
kind of gay. It's real gay up here.
Yeah. Yeah, the full slate. And I sent you the Spotify link for NPR. If we can click through that real quick to listen to part of their shit about Donald Trump. They tend to break up their things pretty well with like some music,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have my note cards down here. I had it written down on one of my note cards, but I think I left them upstairs. Because I had intended to pull. Yep,
that one. All right, so we just won't bring it up until we find something.
Can't say I'm surprised. Russia's Electoral Commission says Vladimir Putin won yet another term as president.
Afterwards, for the first time, he addressed the death of opposition leader Alexei Navalny.
I'm Steve Inskeep with Michelle Martin, and this is Up First from NPR News.
And speaking last night, Putin took a victory lap. He rejected charges the elections were undemocratic and said Russians had allies and family relayed a similar story, but with a key plot difference. They argue that Putin ordered Navalny's murder.
United States. His campaign has never been able to name such a country, but Trump talked about the people
And it's not because of some big
rigging to give Putin this record landslide, and yet Russia will...
There we go. Hear what they have to say about Donald Trump and what he said.
Former President Donald Trump's campaign rhetoric is making news again, and it's not because of some big policy idea.
It's for his words at a campaign rally, which we will hear and discuss. Trump spoke near Dayton, Ohio over the weekend, and this...
on this. Whether or not it's the full 1 minute that we just talked about, providing as much context as possible to what he said, or if they choose just the part where he talks about the bloodbath.
Yep.
This is the way he described people who went to prison for attacking the United States Capitol in 2021.
You see the spirit from the hostages, and that's what they are, as hostages.
Trump often repeats a story about other countries'
What
empty...
NPR fails to mention is that he's not just talking about the people who went to jail. He's talking about the people who were locked in solitary confinement without representation for years.
Yep. Multiple years.
That's what he's still talking about.
They were in jail without charge or trial.
Yeah.
Yep.
So maybe his rhetoric is a little bit hyperbolic. I do.
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
also he's campaigning, and this is also the way he talks.
They were realistically political criminals. They were not allowed.
They're political prisoners.
Held without. I mean, what are we talking about?
Held without bail,
crazy.
without the ability to get a trial. I mean, that's about as unconstitutional as it gets. I mean, and you could definitely call them political prisoners. I mean, they're being held hostage by the Uniparty.
Their prisons to send people to the United States. His campaign has never been able to name such a country, but Trump talked about the people he imagined coming.
If you call them people, I don't know if you call them people. In some cases, they're not people, in my opinion.
He also repeated...
Okay,
there it is.
That's
wow.
Again, he's not talking about the people who are coming here. He's talking about the people who are trafficking people here.
Mm-hmm.
If you can call them people. Again, hyperbolic, but of course people are people. Of course
but they're fucking
all human
monsters.
You're a fucking animal.
Yeah.
You are a fucking animal. That's if you're willing to take a child and a woman and if you're willing to disenfranchise them, rape them, abuse them, and drop them off in a land they have never been to before for money, you're a piece of shit.
Oh yeah, and most of the time they're bringing them to be sold into sex slavery.
If you want to sympathize, with their circumstances and why they're doing that, that's on you. I'm not going to do that. You're a piece of shit, and I don't know what to tell you.
Exactly. I just love it. It's like, let's grab him saying 10 words at a time, and then we'll just...
So all the context
just
you
leave
need.
It there.
That's all you need to know.
The campaign promise focused on asylum seekers and people in this country illegally.
We're going to get them out fast. We're going to have the largest deportation effort in history.
Those are the kinds of remarks Trump makes at rally after rally. Over the weekend, he also said something about a bloodbath.
NPR senior political editor.
Something about a bloodbath.
It's so bad, dude.
And if you spent any time on Twitter this week, then you probably saw, 90 different examples of all these different corporate media journalists tweeting and saying, bloodbath, bloodbath, bloodbath,
Yes,
bloodbath,
dude.
blah, 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 especially regarding the last midterms. What are we fucking doing here? What are we doing?
Yeah, they fucking played on Timcast one night. They played a whole fucking compilation video. It might have been in one of the after shows. And it's every single corporate press journalist going back years.
They just don't care. It's
No.
not they just don't care. It's the amount of lying and deception that goes on. They just do not care at all about whether or not you think they're telling the truth or anything. It's all about it's control. It's just trying to control the people that are listening to them.
Yeah, they just do what they're told,
Yes.
and they get their paycheck, and then they just move on.
Yes.
Take a look at fucking Don Lemon now. He's having his own little lemon party, as they call it. Did you see his interview with Musk at all, or any portions of it?
Yeah.
It was real bad. But Chris Cuomo now is trying to get into space, and he just got hired by fucking PBD.
Yeah.
Which he's getting some heat for, but we'll see how it works out. But it's just this dude he's still just a vapid, empty fucking news presenter that works behind a desk who's told what to say every day, and then he's got no real original thoughts of himself. I mean, these people they're just paid to say to read the script.
Yeah.
And that's all. They have and NPR from NPR all the way up to fucking MSNBC. It's all the same shit.
Domenico Montanaro is with us now to talk more about this. Good morning, Domenico.
Hey there.
Domenico, let's start with that bloodbath remark. What did it mean? And why do you think it got so much attention?
Well, so Trump was talking about China potentially opening car plants in Mexico and then trying to sell those cars in the United States. Let's take a listen to part of what he said.
There we go.
We're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it.
So it's pretty clear he was talking about the auto industry, and his campaign clarified
Yeah, at least there's that.
to say as much in a statement after the event. But, this is what Trump does. He throws out this kind of violent graphic.
But this is what
Orange
he
Man's
does.
bad.
But this is what he does.
Yeah, don't even think about the fact that we've been doing this shit for years and years and years and years. My God, but when Trump says it is bad, my God, do we want to keep listening?
Yeah.
Language. He knows it's going to get a rise out of people, especially on the left, and generate headlines. Then he can wave his hand and blame the media for creating some false narrative.
Which y'all motherfuckers did.
What did you just do?
I mean, you guys did the best that we've seen so far, but we just looked at article after article after article that was just like a blatant fucking misrepresentation of what happened.
While many are litigating what he meant by those comments, going less noticed in the same rally is Trump standing there and saluting January 6 rioters, calling them hostages and patriots, and saying their prosecutions are a disgrace.
I understand Trump also said
Listen,
something.
They're retarded. They are patriots. They're retarded. They do love America, though.
They fucking do. Have you seen the latest pickup that they got? He's a conservative, very young, a young, attractive, like conservative trad life type chick.
Okay.
Isabel DeLuca or something like that. She's all over the Twitters. Actually, let me check. I might have saved that.
She got picked up by the feds
Yeah, she got fucking arrested
for being a Jan 6er.
for being a Jan 6er.
Bro,
You
she was 4 years ago. 3 years ago. I mean,
yeah.
what are we doing here?
Oh, we're still doing it. It's nuts.
What are we doing here?
I'm like 90%. Here's something. There it is.
Ooh.
Oh, I hate when the fucking way this bookmark thing has been working lately is bothersome. Where is it? Back. Oop. Click that. And then expand. Yeah. There we go.
That's dumb.
It is super dumb. Super dumb. But yeah, this chick here, Isabella DeLuca, she just got picked up. She's massive on the Twitters and in like the trad wife, type space like that. She's got a real big mouth and she's really not very intelligent. But there she is right there. And she just got picked up and charged with 5 counts, which include theft of government property and aiding and abetting theft of government property.
Parading. Demonstrating.
Indeed.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, we're still fucking doing this, dude. We're still doing this, which is...
Bro, it's happened 3 years ago.
Oh, man, 3 years ago, and it hasn't stopped. It's just been constantly picking up political prisoner after political prisoner after political prisoner.
Every day is January 6th now.
Every day is January 6th,
Every
bro.
day is January 6th.
Yeah, and if you don't agree with that, you're wrong.
To the salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat everything.